Welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team. I'm Calvin, and I'm joined here by Ramon.
Hey guys, if this is your first time listening to the Win with Dice podcast, this is a podcast all about tabletop RPGs. Calvin and I like to take a casual approach to the hobby, so on this podcast, we like to talk about the games that we run and the games that we play and the cool, wonderful people we get to experience the hobby with. If this is your first time kind of being introduced to tabletop RPGs, well, what are you doing? Go find yourself a table and go have some fun. And if you are a player at someone's table, maybe it's your turn to jump behind the GM screen.
Indeed. So this week, as promised, we are finally talking about the Howl of the Wild book. I made notes on it ages ago, and the book came out like several weeks ago at this point, so we're finally talking about it. We're going to get into some of the new stuff introduced in the book because it's got some really cool archetype stuff that I really wanted to talk about, like the weremoose. But before we get into all that fun stuff, we have to get to the most important part of the show, the Win with Dice Weekly GM Tip of the Week.
Yes, the Win with Dice Weekly GM Tip of the Week, brought to you by Calvin. Thanks, Calvin.
Yay. So, something that I was thinking about, I was recapping some of my sessions that I ran at Origins Convention for Mutants and Masterminds with Untold Stories Project in their big ol' multi-table event, which you should all see if you go check out that previous stream, which was basically the podcast episode for last week, so we technically had a super long episode last week. So one thing that I was just thinking about is how, for one of my sessions, I kind of felt like I was floundering a bit with it. People did enjoy it, which is good, but I feel like things really picked up towards the latter half of it. And that's when I introduced like the combat scenario, including an enemy that I just fully improvised. I brought along an evil vending machine that was shooting cans of extremely sugary sodas at the players as it was bouncing around. And this was just all on impulse, just because I got like this candy thing that like was exactly token size, and I thought also could be an evil vending machine because it's shaped like a soda can. And I guess the tip of the week there is just leaning on doing something silly, weird, and unexpected can really improve the mood of a session. If the players are facing an enemy that they haven't seen that sort of thing before, if it's something unusual even for you or your players, that can really like spice up a combat scenario. Something that has like a unique ability, or it's just different or unusual for the setting that you find yourself in.
Yeah, I think it's always fun to kind of break the mold a little bit, especially just to give your players like something else to whack at or deal with, or even in situations with like, or games without combats, putting them into a situation that is, let's say you have being like a dark and gritty game, I guess, putting them in a situation with a little bit of levity might be just the break they need to kind of get back into things.
Yeah, those tone shifts can really like create something memorable because they stand out among all the other story beats and other moments that you have. In addition, you can also lean on the advantages of the system you're playing, because for Mutants and Masterminds, it was pretty easy to improv a creature. I just needed like 2 numbers basically, and I could just improvise that. It wasn't, and like with something like Pathfinder, I would say that all the enemy creatures, they tend to have their own unique special abilities, so you can move and swap those around to create something unto itself.
Yeah, and even just like grabbing a spell or something from one of the spell lists and giving it to just a regular enemy could change up a lot. I mean, you could spin that into being like an ability the creature already knows, or maybe it is a spellcaster, but I think just kind of swapping things around, making things a little custom once in a while, if you're not too into doing that yourself, would be pretty cool, and your players will probably, be fine with that combat. They usually are way tougher than you think they are.
Yeah, don't be intimidated by the idea of just customizing things, because you'll probably find it easier than you think it is, and the rewards will definitely be completely worth it.
That's for sure. Well, there you go, folks. There's your tip of the week. Always remember to, sneak in a little something special once in a while.
Exactly. All right, so let's get into the episode proper. Up top, I do want to, because we do love Lancer on this channel, so we gotta mention that the Lancer RPG Core Rulebook is getting a reprint, which was announced a few days ago, time of recording. We'll have a link to the Massive Press site below where you can pick up the book. You can get a unique cover for it. You can get it from the Massive Press site, but it's also available on Amazon or from Penguin Random House or from your local comic shop if they have it available. I did get the unique hardcover because I will be needing it eventually when I play Lancer in person. Unfortunately for me, I got paid today, so you know.
Yeah, that's fair. I did not, so I'll wait for my next paycheck.
Yeah,
but I will pick that up too.
I will say the shipping to Canada, you might want to do that.
Fair, yeah.
So let's get into Howl of the Wild. Now this book came out back in May, so it's been out for a while. So I'm sure people have already checked it out quite a bit, but we're getting into it more directly now. We did talk about it briefly before when we were going over some PaizoCon news. The episode that we had on with Tim, we were just talking about some of the Ancestries, and we didn't go too deep into things. So this week, what we're going to do is just look over some stuff that's in the book. I don't want to give everything away, of course, because I think people should go ahead and check it out if they're interested in some of the more natural stuff on like the Pathfinder setting, or just mixing up your characters a bit to make them a bit more unique. But I do want to talk about certain elements with it, and then we can just go through a bunch of the new creatures because I think there's some cool ones in there as well.
Yeah, I would like to also just point out in this book has one of it's the artwork is just fun. Like it's one of the fun. Yeah, just kind of looking through it is like you get so much inspiration and it feels so cool because everyone's kind of a weirdo and I'm down for it. Like
yeah, this book has some really, really good artwork, especially the creature stuff. But there's also because the book itself is sort of written from the perspective of this explorer by the name of Baranthet. And some scenes in the book, it covers that the journey that this character is on and the ship crew that the character is traveling with. It even has a map for the ship itself. So if you happen to need an airship map, that also has biome areas for containing creatures. I think it's a really cool map if you just happen to need that specific thing, or if not, you have a basics for an airship map to use.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the premise of the book is that this group of people, they are seeking out the Wardens of the Wild, which are mythical massive creatures that are stewards to all the different biomes that exist on Golarion, the land, the sea, the sky, and underground. Similar to the Rage of Elements book, which was sort of made as some parts of it felt more like a tour guide sort of thing. Some of it felt like a research document. The book itself has a narrative premise to it that makes it fit within the setting. And of course, it has a bunch of new options for player characters. You can have your large and your tiny player characters. You can have your aquatic and your flying player characters, as well as if you have player characters that someone is able to ride, it has more specific rules for those. So let's just get into the cool new Ancestries, because I feel like that's one of the things that's going to stand out most to people who are checking this book out.
Mm-hmm.
So up first, we have the Athamaru, who are these fish-like humanoids that have undersea communities, which again, speaking of the fun artwork, some of the artwork will be in the episode. Not all of it, because there's too much of it, but definitely this one fish guy I want to put in the episode if I could get the picture there. But yeah, they're fish-like humanoids. They've got low light vision. They're amphibious. They have a swim speed of 25 feet, which is cool. They have a bunch of different heritage options that are all sort of inspired by undersea creatures. There's coral ones that have these coral armor plates from the start when you create your character. And they have a bunch of unique feats as well. They have a version of message, but it's based on pheromones, as well as defensive odors that have poison damage.
Yeah, no, they're super cool. Everybody's super cool, I think. And they're the cool fish guys. I like that they're fish guys and mermaids. They're
yeah,
do whatever you want. Yeah.
If you want to be, fish on top and humanoid on the bottom instead.
Yeah, my favorite part, I think, for the book is just the references to all of the cool characters. The representation, Grifu, right? I think that's how you pronounce his name. the cook, which is a representation of the fish people. He's super awesome. I'm pretty sure that's the person you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude's jokes. I like that. It also, like, this, he's smoking a pipe, and the smoke is coming out of his gills, because obviously.
I mean, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, that's really cool. The awakened animals are kind of cool too. I just like the idea of just like one day a dog's just like, wait a minute, just stands up.
I can think. Yeah, so awakened animals are like creatures that have gained sort of sapience, I believe is the term, and they have a lot of variation because they're starting like HP and speed and everything is determined by the chosen animal, as well as the heritages, because they can be like flying or swimming animals, and they have like different movement abilities. It's pretty open to like what creature you want to awaken, and like how you and your GM will want to play that, because you do have to consider the size of your character as well, and their movement options and what's available to them.
Yeah, because there's, I mean, like a humanoid, there's only so many things, right? Like shapes you can take, but like, I mean, even in some of the artwork here, there's like a turtle, which I think is awesome. I would love to play a turtle. Wait, hold on. Can I be a ninja turtle?
You absolutely can. I mean, just be a monk awakened turtle.
Oh my god, dude. The sky's the limit, folks. It's over.
Oh, no, that should be a really fun campaign.
I know, right? It's just the Ninja Turtles. Might be a fun one shot to maybe put together some Ninja Turtle-esque characters and then, you know, go beat up some foot soldiers. That might be kind of fun.
Ooh. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't even all have to be monks. Like Raphael could be a barbarian or a fighter or something.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, Leonardo can be a tactician, right? Like that'd be pretty cool.
That's, I was trying to remember the name of it.
Yeah, I think it's called tactician, but yeah, or commander. I forget what the class actually is, but he could just be the leader dude, like he always is.
Just make Donatello an inventor, and then Michelangelo is the one actual monk there.
Yeah, the one actual monk. Yeah, that would be dope. And then just give them all of the weapons, and then just, you know, give it to the players. That would be pretty funny to do. We should make a one shot. I think that's actually the next, if we when we like have time to do like create a one shot episode, we'll do that.
That would be fun.
But yeah, super cool. I'm not really sure. I mean, you got to be an animal. That's really awesome. Interesting. Kind of moving on from the awakened animals to the centaur.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool because I think in Inyan, the last time we played, there was a bunch of centaurs that I had to figure out how to be a centaur. I mean, they weren't really centaurs. They were just like, I guess like propped up as centaurs, but the stat block wasn't that. But now I can just make them. You know what I mean? Now I can just make them.
Yeah, so a centaur is a large PC ancestry, which could be interesting or frustrating. They've got they got some heritage options. Some have different ties to like centaur beliefs and stuff like that. But something I find interesting with them is that they can act as a mount for people that they, you know, trust. Because, you know, a normal person wouldn't want somebody just sitting on them all day.
I know, right? Like only friends only.
Exactly. But yeah, there's mechanics for like mounting and riding with another player character, because you do end up having like a limited number of actions, but you can both move at the same time, or in the same position rather, so that could give you some advantage as well. And there's some centaur feats that sort of improve your action economy in that way. But for me personally, all I really want to do is make a centaur gunslinger, because I've had that character concept in mind for a very long time, and I want to use it.
Just roll into town on you're the steed. That's
exactly.
That's what it is.
Like it's your typical Wild West scene. There's a dusty town. You just hear the sound of who's clopping. You don't know who it is, and then the camera pans, and you see that it's not someone riding in; they're walking in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's cool. I like centaurs. Very funny. Okay, let's move on to merfolks. This is the one I wonder if you had. What's your notes on merfolks? Because I'm always confused. Because like they don't got no legs. So tell me how they work on land, Calvin.
Well, they have a swim speed of 25 feet, but they have a move speed of 5 feet. If that answers your question.
So not very fast.
No, there is stuff, like there is equipment that you can get for them, so that they can move around. I don't know if I wrote it down, but there's like something that was like it was like a mix of like a wheelchair and a water tank, basically. I don't remember the name of it. If I wrote it down, it might be somewhere in there.
Submarine? Oh, it's like a submarine, but submarine marine chair. Okay. It's like the opposite, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. It sounds about right. But yeah, they also have to resubmerge in water at least once every 24 hours. So this could be like a unique character, but you're going to have some complications that you need to deal with, basically.
Yeah. Wait. How does that's so wild?
But they do also have.
That sounds. I was gonna say that sounds pretty fun actually, because having to deal with the fact that you're on land and all, like, I feel like a lot of adventures take place on land. Yeah. So you being a literal fish out of water, like that sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, you might have some difficulties, but I think it could be really cool. Like all these characters here, I like that certain characters, like they give you sort of narrative things you have to deal with in your backstory. Like it's not just an aesthetic thing. It's not just what your character looks like or how tall they are. It's a core part of your character and stuff that you'll have to be dealing with during the course of your entire adventure.
Yeah, because I think all of the common races, there's very little interpretation in the world between them. Like even if someone's a human or an elf or a dwarf, they're not out of place, or society at large isn't going to be like, that's weird, right? Mm-hmm. Like at least I think most people just kind of play it like that. Like all of the humanoid races, or at least all of the regular humanoid races, are just kind of common occurrences enough that they're just people, right?
Right.
Versus like I am a sentient turtle, showing up, fighting crime in the sewers. You know what I mean? Like people are gonna be like, "Hey, that's weird."
Yeah, you're gonna stand out a bit.
Yeah, you're gonna stand out a bit. So like, how do you, or like, you're a large cowboy, centaur, right? Like, how do they get into saloons and stuff?
You just gotta duck.
Offer you the stables. You know what I mean? How does that work?
You gotta squeeze yourself in. Yeah,
and like it's pretty cool that they have just like a basically a wheelchair for the merfolk. So people in real life have wheelchairs, so now you could just play a class where it's like this is just normal, right?
Yeah.
Or at least like it's like, oh yeah, here's the thing and here's the actual wheelchair, which I think is pretty cool. I like the idea of just like putting that together is really awesome.
And then like once you get into water, they're super effective because they do have their own swim speed, but they can also like there's a feat you can get that will, like, if an ally close to you has messed up their swimming check, you can help support them, or you can like if you're swimming with a merfolk with this feat, then you might be able to get out of certain water traps that certain people might be using. Not that I know anything about that.
Yeah, of course. All those deadly. Like, what got you in? A dragon? No, just water. Just water. Which maybe like GMs out there, secret second tip, if you really want to mess with your players, like put some water. Let them deal with that. Like they're pretty screwed most of the time.
Yeah, you can fight a dragon, but can you fight your need to breathe?
Yeah.
Not forever.
Get owned by physics. Yeah. Okay. After the merfolks, is there anything else you want to say about the merfolks?
No, I really like that feat that they have that like can help people. Oh, actually, you know what I should mention? The one thing that I think a lot of people know about merfolks, because it kind of got memed around a bit, or just it got kind of popular or viral, I guess is the word, on Twitter for a sec when people saw this feat, the healing flesh feat. That some legends claim the flesh of a merfolk can grant health, longevity, and even immortality after it is consumed. So you can get a feat where that's pretty much true for you. When you're doing first aid or something similar like treating wounds, if you do 1 damage to yourself, then you can get a bonus to your medicine check to use those. And you don't need to use healer tools as well.
That's wild, dude.
But more importantly, if someone were to eat your character's heart and liver within an hour of your character dying, they'll be healed of all physical injuries and would cease to age for 8 years.
What? That's awful. Sheesh, dude. Oh no! Someone's character dies. You're like, we gotta get the heart and the liver.
Yep. I mean, that could be a whole thing unto itself.
Wild.
Because interestingly, like it's not something that is true for every merfolk, but it could be for yours. So I like that, it is a legend. It might be true. It might have some basis in truth, some basis in lies, and just stories. But I also like that there's a mechanic for if someone else eats your character's heart and liver, which is just very wild.
This is very morbid. I mean, that'd be kind of fun to play as the GM, as bad guys, just trying to, go after. Like, if someone chose this, like, it's like they just put a mark on them, man. Be like, oh, hey, there's that. Not aging for 8 years. That could be a real thing. You could put a whole campaign together. Some weird evil despot just wants to live forever, and his choice is like just to kill mermaids.
Yeah. You just gotta get like one every 8 years. Ooh.
Exactly. Oh, no. There's your freebie. There's your freebie, folks. Some pirate king somewhere eating mermaids, like.
That would actually be really fun. I'm gonna make a mental note of that, because I was trying to come up with some one-shot ideas recently, because I might do like a one-on-one game with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You could do one where it's like rescue some mermaids.
Yeah.
And then after the mermaids, we have the minotaurs, another large player character. That has large horns as well, that if you take the right feats, you can use them for some pretty strong goring attacks. They do deal 1d8 from the jump, though, so especially at first level, I think 1d8 is pretty good. Because that's 1d8 without taking up a hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you can wield a two-handed weapon like a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that feels classic for a minotaur, holding a big old great sword or great axe.
Yeah, I like the different kinds of minotaurs. One of them's just like, your feet are furry, so you could sneak better. Like
Stealth minotaur.
Yeah, I like little minotaurs instead of being large or medium. But yeah, it's like you're still a minotaur though. Like
that'd be fun. I could be a medium minotaur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, I think big guys in parties are really awesome, so I like that you could just be a minotaur. Yeah.
I love the complication of a large size player character, though. Very rarely comes up, at least in our play so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for the most part, I mean, if we're doing something custom, if someone's large, I would probably just make the map or whatever big enough to fit people. But
even outside of combat, like going into places.
Exactly, right? Like, can't this minotaur go into the saloon? Like, yeah. Oh man, that would be super fun to do.
Cowboy minotaur would be awesome as well, actually.
Yeah, cowboy minotaur. Just put cowboy in front of everything, like cowboy, cowboy turtle, cowboy fishman. That was pretty
Cowboy
fun.
mermaid.
Yeah, cowboy mermaid.
Just herding all those sea cows.
Yeah, all the sea cows.
Yeah, Minotaurs. Again, they have horns. I think they're pretty cool. There is a feat that you can get that, like, you can do a charge with them, and you can use them to throw enemies after a melee attack.
Ooh, yes. Do it. I love it.
But you can also throw allies. You can do the fastball special.
Oh, nice. I love the fastball special.
So yeah,
right,
if you poke them a bit with your horns, you can toss them like 20 feet, which is I think could be good for some movement there.
Yeah, especially if you just throw them up to a ledge or something.
Yeah, you commander Minotaur and just toss your allies around.
Exactly. Like, man. Oh, could you? Wait, what if you had like a tower shield and you like block so much line of sight? Like, sheesh. Imagine just in a 10-foot hallway and you're just like, oh, by the way, there's just a wall here. Like a literal wall. Like, what are we going to do? Cast fireball. That's what we're going to do.
Oh no.
Moving on to the Cirki. The bug people. I like them. I like them a lot. They look weird enough, but also fun enough. Little bugmans.
Yeah, they look real.
Actually, cool. I don't think they're little. I don't think they're little, but they're normal size.
They can like curl up in a ball. They have, I think, Magiphage is how it's pronounced. But like instead of consuming food and drink, they can consume like ambient magic.
Oh. Wild.
Yeah. And then, like, depending on the magic they consume, that'll affect, like, what sort of Cirki they are.
Ooh, oh, man, that's so much awesomeness. You could just be like, I like the taste of this spell. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you could have a Cirki whose, like, whole thing is that they just want to taste all the flavors of magic. That would be pretty fun.
Like a Cirki chef, but they want to eat magic.
Or just like a Michelin star, like what's it called?
Like a food reviewer, but
food reviewer, but for spells. That'd be pretty funny. You can sit there and just like give spells like tastes and stuff like that. I used to do that a lot with. Yeah, I used to do that. I used to crack that joke when I used to play an alchemist, like way back in the day. I think during my first Rise of the Rune Lords as a player, when that was like 10 years ago, when I played through that campaign. Yeah, I described all of the fiery explosion spells as like made with the power of cinnamon. I unlocked the true form of cinnamon, and then all of my alchemy was explosive. That's how it worked.
Oh my gosh. Just getting cinnamon in your eyes from an explosion. Cirki, they also have like a unique evolution mechanic. So there's a certain feat that you can get and will activate an evolution that is unique to your Cirki's like particular heritage. So each of them, they have their own different appearance, but they also have their own unique abilities that you can unlock further down. Which I don't know if there's something else that has that, like in another Ancestry that has specific unlocks like that, other than like feat stuff.
I mean, I think it's super cool being a crazy, goofy bug man. Like,
yeah, you can
I'm
get
glad
like...
that it's... Yeah. I'm glad it's here. Yeah, like it's branching, right? So like the evolutionary one you could choose, because there's two... Everyone, I think there's two examples, I guess? Or options? Sorry.
Yeah. There's like a passive one, and then there's like an ability that you can use. Some of them are like claws, or your shell gets stronger. There's like a strobe light one in there. Yeah,
there's one where you can just you just can fly. Like
yeah.
Or you can there's the strobe one, there's a hard shell one, there's one where your claws are good. Yeah, this is awesome. I would love to play a silly little bug man.
When I was talking to Tim about this as well, we had mentioned Starfinder and playing these creatures in Starfinder. Just having more, because there are some like insectoid options in Starfinder, but these guys I think look pretty cool. I kind of like these guys a bit more than the insectoids in Starfinder.
Yeah, just put them in. I mean, that's what the beauty part. Assume Starfinder 2 will be out, and then everything will be kind of compatible, right? So.
Yep. Like next month.
Yeah, and no, this is super awesome. I like the idea of these bug people who just absorb magic ambiently.
Yeah, there's a consume magic feat that they have. It's like a higher level one. It's basically like a counteract, but you eat the spell.
Yeah, that's super dope.
So yeah, bunch of new ancestries, and in addition, there are some like archetypes that you can apply onto, like how archetypes work. Like in place of some class feats, you can get archetype feats, or you can play with a free archetype, which I am experimenting with. Because the archetype feats usually aren't so game breaking that having an extra feat every like third level or so, or however many it is, it's not so game breaking that that's an issue. But there are some cool archetypes here. I made notes of a couple. One being the Swarm Keeper, just because I saw the art and I was like, that's pretty extreme. Swarm Keeper is basically like your character becomes the nest for a swarm of creatures.
There's a dude. This is actually a class that you can play in what's that game called? I think it's like Heart Beneath the City or something like that.
Is that like you have a class that has like you scare insects around?
The class is literally like you are the hive. Like the hive archetype is just what the class is. Yeah, it's Heart the City Beneath. It's a very, very like horror and I think it's called Darkest Dungeon, that game where the dudes go in and then they all just basically get wrecked. Yeah, this is basically what Heart is. But yeah, there's a class where you play as a swarm. You just are a swarm. And it's reminded me definitely about that game. But yeah, it's this goblin in the picture is crazy right now, man. It's like not the bees.
Yeah, I think the Pathfinder one is a bit less grim and maybe a bit more enjoyable because you can like direct the swarm at enemies. You can even have the swarm like carry you.
Whoa! Oh, you can have like spiders. This is a lot, dude. That sounds spooky. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking of what was that spell? That one that Teeks had, one of those primal spells that you can just summon like a wave of insects that like sicken people, and I like just having them like burst out from her mouth because that was really fun. Imagine that, but a whole character all the time.
Yeah.
And another archetype that I thought was really cool was the were creature, expanding werewolves to beyond, where you can be like a were bear, or a were shark, or a were moose. I just thought that was really cool. It's a bit. I mean, I don't know. It vaguely reminds me of Skyrim, but just in that you're purposely choosing to be a were creature.
Yeah, there's like also ways where you could just get like animal parts grafted onto you. Like,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Like, so you just like, I just want like I have a tail, and then you could just have a tail. There's cool animal spells that you could have. There's one where if you're just a bird and you can fly, you get to have all the abilities of having the ability to fly, right? Like falcon swoop, bombing run, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that should be my next character. I should just play a bird.
What happened to your turtle?
I mean, I want to do both, all right? Like, okay, what if I just play two characters, and one's a turtle and one's a bird, and the bird carries the turtle around?
This went from Ninja Turtles to Kung Fu Panda, I think.
Yeah, that's what I want. I just want to be I just want to be a whole zoo of animals, and that's what I'm playing as. It's just like, like 3 goblins in a trench coat. It's just like a couple of animals in a trench coat, and that's my character.
3 birds in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did mention spells as well. There are a couple of spells I wanted to look at. Albatross Curse I thought was pretty fun because you just summon a bird. It hovers over a target and you get a bonus to attacking that target. The target can strike and kill the albatross, but if it does, it'll be weighed down by the guilt of slaughtering this bird of good fortune.
Just like, oh no.
Which I like that description.
That's wild. Oh, Claws of the Otter, please. You grow webbed between your fingers. You get +1 status athletic checks to swim, as you do as an otter, and you get claw and armed attacks. Oh, perfect! I love it. And you do cold damage as you get more. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be a really fun one for Teeks, because her athletics isn't very good, but I'm pretty sure she's okay at swimming.
Yeah, but you can just turn into a shark or whatever. Like,
I mean, yeah.
You should just. Oh, you know what Teeks should get? Teeks should get like a shark tail grafted on her. That would be pretty cool.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. This book is wild, dude. I'm glad
Yeah.
it's like they went a lot harder than I thought they would. Like, that's, I think, as good this book is. Like, there's just like a lot of stuff and a lot of weird stuff, and I like it.
Yeah, that's what I like about the Pathfinder books. Like, there's always some very unique things. There's always stuff that stands out. There's always things that you read and you instantly want to make a character with them.
You know what they feel like every time? They feel like those splat books. Like, I know, like, D&D is pretty good, but all of their I feel like a lot of the cool stuff are usually just third-party stuff. But like every time Pathfinder comes out with something, I'm always just like, holy shit, dudes, you guys are just like pushing the what fantasy is. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I like that you could just have a giraffe.
I like the foraging friend spell, the Disney princess spell, as I've been thinking of it. Like, you just summon a bunch of small woodland animals to collect food for you.
Yeah, Teeks should also get that.
That is a spell that I definitely want Teeks to get.
It's too much fun in here. It's too much fun in here.
I would freaking love that, because she's high enough level that she can do the version where like the animals bring back enough food for 8 medium creatures, so she can just get food for everybody.
Yeah, that's really funny. We should just get a bunch of fish to help us out. Just like, here, I brought you back this seaweed. We're like, oh, here's a squirrel. Here's this nut. And you're like, oh, thanks, squirrel.
That'd be really cool. There's also new types of spells. One that I made note of is the incarnate spells. It's basically like summon that lasts for a turn, pretty much. So the 2 examples that I've seen are full 3 action spells, where you summon something temporarily, like a stampede, and they have different actions. They have an arrive action that they do after the spell finishes, and then at the end of your next turn, they can move, and then they have a depart action. So with Summon Stampede, something can show up, and maybe with its arrival, it'll frighten your targets, and then as it departs, it'll deal bludgeoning damage.
Oh, that's really fun. That's really cool, because like I think, the thing showing up and it just gets to be a separate combatant is all right? That's like the norm for like 10 years. That's cool. Like,
yeah, I like the idea that's like it's super powerful, but it's just like temporary. There's also like, because if you do summon a creature, because there's a spell to summon the Wardens of the Wild, these mythical creatures that the book was talking about, they could act in your interest, and they probably will, but it's really up to the GM what they're going to do. especially in a combat scenario where it's like, they'll try to act in their interest and direct, like not hit you or your allies with the spells. But at the same time, it's not like you're summoning something that you control. It's not like you're summoning an entity that you control.
Yeah.
You're summoning this thing that's like the warden of forests. So, it might not do exactly what you want it to do. But when it shows up, it'll do something devastating. I don't know. I think it's an interesting spell tag. I'm hoping that they do more stuff with it.
Bro, and even some of these like weapons and stuff too. Like I just like kind of going through them a little bit. The Fulmination Fang, it's just like a gun, except it's lined with the scales from a storm snake, which is awesome. I don't know what the fuck a storm snake is, but definitely super rad. And then when you get hit with lightning damage, you just get resistance as a reaction. And then you get to do a d6 extra lightning damage your next shot. Like, yo, for the next minute, it deals an extra d6 because you charged it. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and all of these special items, they're all seem to be made out of, I guess, animal parts, right? Like, you can craft them.
Yeah, I like that the crafting for these things, it mentions like the raw materials that you need from certain creatures. I mean, that could also be a campaign, like a Monster Hunter campaign.
Oh yeah, this is totally the Monster Hunter stuff, because yeah, they all have like monster bits attached to them, so you could like go on a quest to go hunt this monster, and then after you get it, you could like craft this item. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, I would go for that. Like, you hunt the creature, you find it, you kill it, you craft, and then you can do some downtime stuff to like sell the items you find. That would be cool.
Yeah, or just like use it. Like, man, the Fulmination Fang, sign me up. Like,
there's also siege weapons for hunting down massive beasts.
Yeah. And there's like cool stuff too, where it's like, a catching pole or animal bind, like just like an atmospheric breathing suit, stuff like that, where you're able to, do stuff. But yeah, the siege weapons are really cool. I like the picture of just like this manticore having a bad day. Yeah, because I'm assuming you mount this onto your ship and you could do cool stuff with it.
Yeah. They were introduced in the Guns and Gears book, which we should maybe like do an examination of as well at some point.
Ooh, spell catalysts. Ooh, that's really cool. I guess the first one,
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, Calvin.
I was gonna say, like, with the spell catalyst, you can expand on certain spells. So yeah, if you have an alicorn hair and you do your stabilize spell, you can stabilize one additional creature, which could come in pretty clutch.
Yeah, dude, this is awesome. I like that. You can a chaos falcon's feather. Okay, all right, dude, calm down.
Chaos falcon.
Chaos falcon. If you catalyze the resist energy spell, you can sustain the spell on an adjacent target. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, no, I like this a lot. I wish, like, this is what I would do. This is actually what I do normally, like, as a GM, is, like, give my players stuff that they shouldn't, like, it's not written anywhere, right, as rewards. Like, I obviously just make stuff up all the time. I'll give them monster abilities. I'll give them cool little bits, because I find that, like, this is the, like, that +1 sword and stuff like that will do the work, but this is where the fun is, I think, for a lot of players.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like hyped.
Yeah, man. I do like these things. Like, if you just want a spell to work a different way in a clutch moment, like if you want your gust of wind spell to move in a different direction, like if you just have that item on you, you add an extra action. Because as I am one of those RPG players that likes to carry around stuff until the exact moment I need it. So.
Perfect. I saved this for 20 levels. Ooh, that's so fun. There's a royal basilisk. He has a little crown. Look at this little man. I think he's huge, but he's a little man.
Just a special little guy. So yeah, I think we can maybe just go through a bunch of the creatures and see if there's anything just that randomly pops up. There are, again, I'll just mention real quick while you're looking at the book. There are some other new character options. There's druid and barbarian stuff, obviously. There's ranger stuff with more focus spells. Witch stuff for patrons that focus on like primal spells and nature themes. Nature sounds for bards, if you had a bard that uses like bird calls and stuff.
Oh, you got that dog in you, like.
Yeah, man. Oh, a bard that uses howls and is also a werewolf, maybe.
Yeah.
New companions, new consumable types, like the catalyst we just talked about. Yeah, new items and stuff, and then the supra marine chair that we had mentioned before.
Supermarine chair, because it'd be a submarine chair if it was the other way. Yeah. Oh, dude, there's like chimeras. Perfect. I love it. I love that. It's just like here's like a bunch of heads that you could use.
Yeah, your chimera doesn't have
funky,
to be like
dude.
regular.
I know. I did this too, actually. A little bit in the Indian campaign where honestly, like, I was like, I need some weird dragon stuff. So then I just took a chimera, except it's just 3 dragons, like, like 3 dragon heads. I was like, yeah, this is fine. They're like, just take the good parts. Let's put the rest away. But yeah, no, I like that. You can have all this stuff. You can have a phantasmal beast too. Like, that's not even. It's like it's incorporeal. What? But why?
Yeah, one of the heads
What's
is a
the
ghost.
biology in that? You know what this book reminds me of? I don't think you've watched it yet, Calvin, but Delicious in Dungeon or Dungeon Mushy. Like, oh my god, dude.
I got the sense you were gonna make that reference. Yes.
This is the book. This is the Dungeon Mushy book.
Yeah, what this book needs is a section on cooking.
I know, right? That would be so good. I can't wait till Paizo puts out the cooking book. I think that's like, Call of the Wild or whatever. It's Call of the Kitchen, dog. Like.
Oh, isn't there? This came up before in one of the games. We got to get back to campaign recaps because it's been a while, but this came up in the end of the Fateseer session because we were looking up certain food items, and there was like a unique one that we found, and you could do like a crafting check to make it, or like a cooking check to make a cheese crostata. Which
cheese crostata.
You need cooking lore to make. Yeah, there's some cooking stuff. If you combine it with this, that's what the next book needs to be. A combination of the cooking mechanics that exist with these new creatures.
Oh, dude, there's just like an unholy dinosaur devil. The Thronosaurus Rex. It just has a big fireball between its horns, and it looks like a Digimon, like evil Greymon. I'm down with it.
His arms are so stubby.
His arms are so stubby. It's still a T-Rex. Yeah.
They seem like stubbier than normal.
Ooh, there's a big mole thing, and it has Sonic hands. That's cool. Wait, is this? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's the kind of thing that, like, players might go out and look for. Maybe it's terrorizing a local village, but if you're able to defeat it and you take one of its claws,
oh shit! It's a Chaos Falcon. You get one of his feathers.
Yeah.
This kind of goes back to the tip of the week, where you can go through your normal campaign and then drop one of these suckers, because they're animals, right? So, reasonably, one of them could show up and just kind of mess with the party a little bit.
Just a freaking Chaos Falcon shows up.
Caca!
Yeah, there's a whole section on different fish, especially with all these aquatic ancestries that they've thrown at you.
There's a bunch of fish. I like that there's just a swordfish. It's just a swordfish.
You know, sometimes there's normal stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, there's just a frog with a bunch of frogs in its mouth.
Yes, the concert frog, which can use a 3-frog orchestra.
Stop. This is a pretty sure a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Cal, you never played Yu-Gi-Oh.
I've looked at the cards.
But there's like a toad that is like, there's a card where it's like a frog with I think it's like 2 frogs and like a orange on top of it or something. But basically it's called an Exceed card. So you have to stack 2 monster cards underneath it at the same level. And like the frogs are all level 2 and you need to be Exceed level 2. So you'd stack 3 frogs together to make this thing. And it was, that was the joke, right? It's just the card on top is a bunch of frogs on top of each other. And this is it again. Yeah, I am kind of in love with this book. This book is silly in all of the best ways.
Yeah.
They did the thing with the griffin. And more lion or not? Less eagle? Question mark. That's so good. Ooh, there's like super griffins and super moles. All right. This is like the whole campaign. It's just me yelling out cool stuff.
Again, that could be a campaign unto itself. Like, you have to, I mean, depending on what you want to do, if you want to hunt these creatures or if you just want to befriend them.
Oh, dude. You could have, like, actually just play Monster Hunter in Pathfinder now, because I feel like there's just so much stuff here that you can just have the whole thing be like, you gotta go hunt this creature, this is where it lives, you gotta go find it, find some stuff about it, open up a little investigation, right? Like,
yeah.
Ooh, that would be super fun. Maybe I could just bring back Indiana. Indiana could just be this.
I mean, I wouldn't say no. I mean, that would really work because you want it to be like a West Marches kind of thing, right?
Yeah, where it's like, you put up, out here in like, these paths, there's like this giant hydra, and then it's like, you gotta go deal with it.
Because it could be like the bounties you create, they don't necessarily have to be like, look for this particular person or whatever. It could be deal with this particular creature. And like, this creature's causing problems, or you just need to hunt it down or whatever, but they don't know where it is, or the person who set the bounty doesn't know like where it is or where its lair is or whatever. So you have to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, it's like, or it could also be like kind of like a cryptid thing too. Let's say you're playing something that's a little bit, not like normal, but like a little bit more like humanoid centric, and then all of a sudden there's like this spooky monster out like Loch Ness or something like that, or like Bigfoot. I think this is like the best part about this is actually all of the new monsters that you could throw at your players also. Oh, there's different manticores too? Stop, say more. Yeah, this book is wild.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at the in the Kingmaker companion guide, there was different sections that had like meals you could create with cooking lore. And depending on your level of success at creating those meals, you would grant different bonuses. So I mean, I would like to see a combination of the two things. Maybe.
Oh, dude.
You know what? We should write that.
Yeah, we should write that.
You could publish it on Pathfinder Infinite.
Yeah, we could totally do that. Just have like a cooking book, but just like with... Oh, we would have to make a meal out of like every monster where it's kosher to do that. That would be pretty fun, actually. And they could be like, bonuses that the players could get if they make a big enough meal and everyone eats it. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could probably put together like a background, or not a background, like a... Is it background? Archetype? Or something? I don't think I have the...
Like a chef
class,
archetype?
Yeah, or... Yeah, a chef archetype. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, where you get to do cool stuff by being a chef. Basically, we're just making Senshi from that show, I think. Whenever you watch that show, Senshi is the thing I'm thinking about.
I haven't seen it yet, but my point of reference for this is more, I don't know if you've played Dragon's Crown, but it's a game where like you do combat in levels, and you can either go back to the hub world or you can keep playing. But if you keep playing and you chain levels together, you have to like camp in between levels. And when you're camping, you can do cooking, and the ingredients you have depend on what level you just finished. And if you defeated the boss in that level, you'll have certain ingredients. And then depending on what you do during the actual cooking, you get different bonuses to like your HP and your attacks and defense and stuff like that.
Yeah. All of that studio who makes that made Dragon's Crown, they always have like cooking involved in their games, and they always like the best looking food.
Yeah, those
Vanillaware. That's
really
the studio.
Vanillaware.
Yeah, Vanillaware makes the best food in gaming.
They really do. Where's my Dragon Crown sequel?
I mean, a lot of people are saying that. Well, if you wanna, I think you could get it on Switch, or but there's Unicorn Overlord. That's a game that they made recently, and
Yeah,
it's the same.
it's not the same gameplay. It's the same art and looks
that's
really
fair.
good, but
You're like, give me the thing I want.
yeah, I don't want something that looks like the thing I want.
Yeah, fair enough. Dude, between this book and Rage of Elements, there's just so much like fun things you could put in your game. Like, man, I am like, wow. Low key, just like you could just, play Pokemon basically. this game now.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in these books. Enough that they could, again, like I'm pretty sure we mentioned in the Rage of Elements book, like it could inspire a campaign all on its own. There's just a lot of stuff in these books that I want to do something with. I will make sure to put a link to it in the YouTube description because I want people to go check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just looking at the art for the giant tardigrade, like this microscopic creature, but now it's huge.
Oh no, watch out. It can survive in space.
Oh man, this giant tardigrade I think would be a really cool enemy to have to deal with in a Starfinder 2nd Edition game.
Just make it like a bioship. Just like
that seems like such a sci-fi.
Great.
Yeah, okay. This book is really cool. Definitely go check it out. It's got some regular creatures, it's got some weird creatures, it's got some items you can craft from the creatures. Yeah, if you want more nature options for your campaigns, your characters, if you want more druid stuff, or just more natural magic that you can use, or cool archetypes, like the Weremoose, then definitely check this book out, because I think it's got a lot of really interesting stuff to it. Ramon, anything else you want to say before we roll into the outro?
Oh man, yeah. Be afraid, players. I am armed to the teeth with weirdos. I'm coming for you.
Oh no. All right. Well, with that warning, thanks a ton, everybody out there, for listening and for checking out the podcast. Just really appreciate y'all stopping by. If you're on YouTube, please check out the podcast playlist. If you're on other platforms, then please check out our other audio episodes. We have all of our 2024 episodes up and distributing on various platforms, so definitely go check those out. If you are on the Win With Ice YouTube, though, please also check out the gaming streams that are going on. There's a lot of fun stuff going on right now. There's Baldur's Gate 3, there's Armored Core 6, and there's Alan Wake 2, and everything is firing on all cylinders right now. Armored Core especially, because I hadn't played too deeply into it before. I just played the tutorial mission, but now I'm getting into it, and I was actually playing it off stream, which doesn't often happen with the games that I play on stream, because I kind of save all my reactions and stuff for the stream. But I'm like replaying missions to get better scores and stuff, so hopefully I'm better at the game when we start playing it again.
Fair enough.
In addition, I also just wanted to remind people that last week we did a live stream with Untold Stories Project with a bunch of people from over there. So please go check that episode out. Also go check out Untold Stories Project on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, if you want to see more of the Mutants and Mastermind system, that is probably the best place to see it, because there's a bunch of campaigns there and they're all connected and it's a really fun universe to be in. As we mentioned up top, there is a Lancer RPG Core Rulebook re-release, the physical version. So there will be a link below to that, as well as to a bunch of Lancer third-party writers and creators, so you can go and spice up your game. But that'll do it for now. I guess we need to work on that Pathfinder cookbook next.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Anything else before we sign off?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Well, for all of our howling GMs and players out there, just remember to keep on winning with dice, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.